the honor of presenting to you today, first of all, an announcement that Carol Henderson, who was supposed to be our luncheon speaker today, is not available to be here. She is ill. But we do have someone who is going to take her place, and I think she can do it very aptly. She is the Director of Outreach at the National Clearinghouse for Science and Technology and Law. Her name is Anjali Swinton. Many of you know her, some of you may not. A little bit of a background: she does have a master's in forensic science from George Washington University and also a JD from American University. So I'll turn it over to Anjali.
Thanks, Mike. I would like to personally apologize again for Carol Henderson. She is the director of the National Clearinghouse. She's also the president of the American Academy of Forensic Sciences, as many of you know. She is a local resident here in Tampa, and my personal belief is that these Floridians can't handle this weather, honestly. I did see her on Tuesday. I've been in town since Sunday for another meeting, which I'm going to mention in my brief remarks, but she just hasn't been feeling well, and the Academy meeting starts in just a couple of weeks, as I'm sure many of you are aware, and she felt that she really needed to try to get herself well. She's had a bout of flu. So since I was here at the meeting, she asked if I could give the talk this afternoon and just tell you all a little bit about the Clearinghouse. So that's what I'm going to do. And as Mike mentioned, I am a forensic scientist and also an attorney. I've had the pleasure of working at NIJ for about 5.5 years as a contractor when I was attending law school at night, so I know many of you from many of my past exploits. But I'm going to talk to you about the National Clearinghouse for Science, Technology, and Law and what resources we have that may assist all of you, no matter what your role is. If you're law enforcement, if you're a prosecutor or defense, if you are a judge, if you're a scientist in a laboratory. Our stakeholders are all of you, as well as people that we didn't necessarily initially think of when we started this clearinghouse. We've had lots of visits to our online database from reporters and other media people seeking information or doing research about an article. We've been used extensively by students in all areas, in graduate science programs, in forensic science programs, and certainly law students. So I'm just going to tell you, I don't think I'm going to talk all the way through to the end of our time, but this is the website. It's www.ncstl.org, and if you haven't visited, I urge you to visit. It's pretty cool. We do have a graphic designer as one of our employee contractors who does a lot of our graphics, and it's kind of fun to just visit the website and look around. We have one of my colleagues from the Clearinghouse was on her way when we broke for lunch to bring brochures. We have pretty cool, glossy, glitzy brochures that tell a lot more about the Clearinghouse, and I'm hoping that when we break after lunch and go back to the main meeting area that there will be brochures available for you to take. These are our main program areas, and I should also mention we are an NIJ-funded entity. So we're housed in Gulfport, Florida, on the campus of Stetson Law School. I don't know how anybody in Florida goes to school. The campus, if any of you have ever visited, used to be an old hotel. It's absolutely gorgeous, and every time I go there for a visit, I keep thinking if I was a student here, I'd never get anything done. I'd just sit by the fountains with my law books and probably do no studying and do a lot more sunbathing. But Stetson Law School is actually the recipient of the NIJ grant, and we've had a grant for 5 years. Previous to that, we had some seed funding from NFSTC to begin our very first project, which is a searchable online database of all things forensic. We also have a physical reference collection, and we develop a lot of training and education products. We have several that are in flux right now, or actually being developed and are not yet available, and I'm going to talk to you about 2 of those. And then we also have a guest lecture series where Carol will invite, being the president of the American Academy is a great thing when you have a clearinghouse like this to run. She's had people like Michael Baden and Henry Lee and Cyril Wecht and Helena Ranta from Europe, from Finland, come and do lectures to staff and students at the law school, and then we capture those on video and have made DVDs of those lectures available. And all of the products that we have made available of our training programs are free to use. So there's some information in the brochures that I spoke about, and also if you go to our website, there's contact information there. If there's anything that we've produced that you would like copies of, feel free to go ahead and get those. Christine Funk, who's in the audience up front, because I made her sit up front with me, and I did a local radio show on Wednesday night here in Tampa that we got booked to do through Stetson Law School. And when we were talking about the clearinghouse, the host of the radio show said, you guys need like a glitzier, sexier acronym. What's this NCSTL? It doesn't really roll off the tongue. You need to come up with a word first and then make the acronym. And the acronym is the name of the organization. But I wanted to point out that Carol did have a vision when she started this, and she's a huge Sherlock Holmes fan. Those of you that may know her know she currently has 2 cats, and they are named Watson and Holmes. She wanted me to put a picture of the cats in the PowerPoint, but I told her that's only allowed when you're giving the talk. But this is what she kind of envisioned when she started the project, the Worldwide Accessible Technology and Science Online Network. That is the National Clearinghouse for Science, Technology, and Law. And our general email, if you're just going to the Clearinghouse for general email, the email is watson@stetson.law.edu. So that's kind of how that fits in. What is the online database? It is a one-stop shopping place. It's a clearinghouse of information. So we don't actually create the information that's put into it. We have a fabulous setup, which sounds a little bit similar to what some of your offices, those of you that are doing cold cases, you use law students. We get to do that too. We're at a law school, so we get to use law students as free slave labor. We don't have to pay them, they get credit. It's a mutually beneficial, situation. And we always have more students each semester applying for the class called directed research than we can actually take. They're managed by some of our full-time research attorneys who are on staff at the clearinghouse, and they get specific assignments. They get a category. Maybe their category that semester is toxicology or DNA or latent fingerprints, and they go through about, you'll see up on the slide, we have 35 different forensic topics like DNA, toxicology, trace evidence, explosives. For each one of those 35 categories, we have information from a variety of places, newspaper articles, graduate student theses, presentations that are given at professional conferences, of course, things like case law. So if you've ever seen an advertisement for a conference that you've wanted to attend, but perhaps you don't have funding, or you can't travel, or you have a conflict, we are trying to get all of the presentations from as many professional conferences as we can possibly get. Sometimes they will charge for them and we don't have the budget to pay for them. But if we're able to get them under an education exception, we will have links or we will have copies of those articles accessible through the database. So again, I need to repeat that we don't actually create these entries, and so we have had some questions or concerns about the validity or the reliability. We're not making judgments as to how scientifically reliable a particular article may be. We sort of feel that it's important, if you're an attorney researching a particular issue for a case, it's critical that you get all the reliable information on DNA, but it might be also equally important for you to know what's out there in the public mainstream that may not be reliable, and there may be some way for you to use that strategically in your case as well. So as I said, it's a compilation of information, and we have had some copyright issues. Westlaw writes their case synopses. We can't just insert those into the clearinghouse. So for anything where there may be a copyright issue, we'll at least provide you the link where it resides, and then you may need to pay an additional fee to get the full article or the full case, depending on what it is you're looking for. We have users from over 120 countries. Anytime we go and give a talk about the clearinghouse, for example, at something like the American Academy of Forensic Science, where you have a lot of international attendees, we're able to go back and track the hits on the website from the different countries, and that's always gratifying to know that people are taking advantage. This is just another graphic from our brochure showing you a sampling of the different topics that are included on the website. Show of hands, how many of you have actually been on the website? Anybody? At least some. You're all sitting toward the front. Good. All right. This is a screen capture of the website currently, and you can see there's a place for you to sign in. You are not required to register. Because we are government funded, everything that we do and all of the resources that we provide are available for free. We do have a registration option, and what that gives you are just a few more features that you don't get if you don't register. So if you register and then have a username and a password, if you return to the website at another time, it will have things like your last 10 saved searches. So if you're in the middle of doing research on a topic and you can't finish the project at that time and you want to come back and you don't want to have to start all over again, it'll save what you did last. So again, it's not, there's no payment to use it and there's no requirement to register. You can certainly sign on as a guest, but we offer that option. So those are just a couple of screen captures. We have a bunch of links, just like a lot of websites that have forensic or legal links. We do that as well. We have an extensive section on on DNA and then also post-conviction DNA. We have legislation sections. So again, I would just recommend that you take a look. We've got bibliographies. A lot of times we've been asked to, because we have all of this data on our website, to compile data on a particular topic for somebody giving a conference or for one of our colleagues or for NIJ. So we've compiled bibliographies on cold cases, on post-conviction, on the CSI effect, and a lot of those are also available. You can download the bibliography right off the website, and then you also, each of the individual entries in the bibliographies are hot linked, and you can go directly to those articles if you want to. This is just included to show you that we do, if you did a search for DNA for defense, a list of articles and such would come up. We also have an online newsletter. It's called It's Evident. It comes out quarterly. It's published online, and if you register or become a member of our listserv, you will be notified every time the new issue comes out. And the articles are written by members of the NCSTL staff as well as members of our advisory board, many of whom are in the room, and people like you. So if you're looking for another outlet, if you are a frustrated writer and you're looking for an outlet for an article that you want to publish, this is a great place to do it. My contact information is at the end of the presentation, and I would urge you to contact me. I can put you in touch with our Director of Education, who is the editor for the publication. I believe the next issue is due to be out in April. I don't know what the publication deadline is for that. That's just a sample of what the newsletter looks like, and again, all of the articles are hot linked. You can download them, you can print them if there's something of interest to you. And this is how you search the database. Right when you come on, whether you've registered or not, you can go to search database, and there's a fairly stringent search engine in there. So you can go to, say you're looking for DNA cases in the state of Kentucky, and you want to talk about mitochondrial DNA in which maybe mitochondrial was offered and excluded. You can put in a bunch of keywords and look under DNA Kentucky cases, and a list of options will come up. I should point out that we started this project in 2002, and at the time we began populating the database with information from 2002, forward. So a lot of the information that's contained within the database does not go back earlier than 2002. At some point, if we have more money, more students, more resources, we would love to put more information, farther back. But certainly, as I'm sure we're all aware, we're a little bit hamstrung by the resources that we have, and we're trying to just keep up with the 35 topics in 20 different areas on a daily basis moving forward. This would be a sample record. We may have, because we do have law students doing this for us, even though we can't use the case squibs from Westlaw, we can have the students write their own, and then there's no copyright issue. And so that's for the case law, that's what you'll find. So that's it about the database. And again, I hope that if you haven't already done so, that you'll check it out. I want to just talk to you briefly about two other projects that should be of interest, hopefully, to this group. And one of them is the DNA for Defense project. Several of the members of that group are here today. We've been here working earlier this week for another project that's been under our NIJ grant. We were asked to create a training tool specifically for the defense bar in the uses of DNA. And when we initially got the request, I kind of thought, well, DNA is DNA. It doesn't matter what side of the bench you're on or what side of the bar you're on, and shouldn't matter scientifically if you're a defense attorney or a prosecutor. And we all know that there's lots of information and protocols and training out there already. But we convened a focus group, and we asked them, are there issues that are specific to the defense? And what we first identified were certainly strategic things that if you're the defense bar, maybe there isn't something already out there that tells you strategically how to use DNA to your advantage or to bolster your theory of the case. And as we started to work on this and try to flesh out what the content should be, we realized that there was a lot more that maybe was already out there but in a different way or not necessarily conducive to how defense conducted their investigation into the case, or just to learn about if it's your first DNA case. You all remember your first, right? Right? Was it painful? We want to make it less painful. So we want to provide information that's digestible and understandable. And then we'll have the pictures of the people that are on the subject matter expert group at the back, so that if anybody still doesn't get something, they can call one of the people that wrote it. But we had, and these are the subject matter experts. 4 of them are in the room right now. Jules Epstein, I think, is Jules in the room? Still? Jules is in the back. Christine Funk and Chris Plort are sitting up here, and Ron Reinstein. Ron, are you somewhere? Ron's right up front. So Jack Ballantyne and Catherine Cothran are our 2 scientists. Kathy works for Cecilia Krause, who is in the room. And Vanessa Potkin works with Barry Scheck at the Innocence Project in New York, and Ed Invarsky is a public defender in Washington, D.C. So 2 scientists, a judge, 5 defense attorneys go into a room, get locked in, and don't come out until they've created this training tool. We have had 7 meetings. The last one was just this Monday and Tuesday. We have 1 more scheduled for March 2nd and 3rd, and if you look at that, it's pretty ambitious. We've pretty much done this just outside of 1 year. Gotten together a lot of times. This is a big time commitment for the people that are on this group, and we're up to just under 190 pages of text. We have a DOJ editor who's been graciously assigned to us by NIJ to help us keep all our P's and Q's in order. And at our last meeting, we are going to be working on a glossary and a bunch of appendix items like sample forms. We've been told that you all like sample forms, so we don't want to just tell you you can issue this kind of order. It's helpful to actually have samples of that kind of order that other people have successfully used. So we're going to provide all of that to you in appendix material. And then as soon as we're done, we're hoping to have the completed material sent to NIJ, fingers crossed, by April. And as soon as they can get it published, it will be available to you to utilize. It will be primarily available as an online tool, but we have also, one of the concerns that the defense bar had from the outset was that defense attorneys don't necessarily work the same way that prosecutors do. They may not have internet access in their offices. They may not be able to sit and read a 200-page document online. It's going to be a lot longer once we get the appendix material in there. They like to have something printable because it may be, and I'm quoting the folks on my group here, it may be, you know, an hour before they're going to the jail to meet with their client that they want to reference something that they need to learn. All of a sudden they realize mitochondrial is an issue. They need to learn about mitochondrial on the way to the jail. Hopefully they're not driving and reading at the same time. But they really emphasize the importance of having a hard copy version available. And I know as we move toward a green world, and in the interest of saving money, NIJ has ceased to make hard copy publications of a lot of their publications, but they have agreed to allow us, or they're going to do it for us, hopefully, to program this in such a way that there will be a downloadable print version, so that you will have to print it yourself, but you will be able to print either 1 chapter, bring it with you to the jail, or print the whole document so you have a hard copy. So watch for that. Again, I can't give you an exact time of when it'll be available, but hopefully later this year. That's pretty much what I just said. And then the last thing I want to just talk to you about is a new project. We just got a grant from the Bureau of Justice Assistance, which is a sister agency of NIJ. And this is to conduct training of both the defense and prosecutors in capital states. So this is basically a synopsis. We are going to be giving 2 two-day trainings. It's going to be the same training, but we're just going to cut the country in half. We've already got dates, so take a look up there. We're going to do the first one here in Tampa, May 21st and 22nd. So the eastern half of the country will be invited to that one, and then we're going to be doing the second one November 19th and 20th in Phoenix, Arizona. In order to qualify to attend, you do need to be a prosecutor or defense attorney from a state that has capital punishment. We will be training 75 people at each of these. The training, just like this one, will be free. So we are just getting ready. I have a meeting next week with the program managers at BJA to finalize the faculty for these and also to begin the invitation process. Basically, this is my plea to you. I know that a lot of times we hear about these kinds of things after they've already happened, and we want to know why we didn't get the memo. So those of you in this room, if you are an attorney in a capital state and you're interested in participating or attending, or if you have colleagues that would be, I would ask that you come find me. I'll be here through the rest of the day. Give me your business card or contact me afterwards. That's my email address. It's aswenson@siloforensics.com. My contact information is also in the conference materials. I'm listed under the strange category of other because I'm from I work from Maryland for the Clearinghouse, which is here in Florida, and I was sort of invited just as an attendee. So if you're looking for me and you can't find me, I'm listed under other, but my contact information is there, and I would urge you to contact me soon if you think you're interested so that we can make sure we get invitations out. I'm hopeful that what's going to happen is we're going to have more interest than we can fill, and that we would then go back to BJA and ask for more money to do it again. But I certainly don't want to have the embarrassment of having 75 free seats at training and not be able to fill them. So tell a friend and let me know if you're interested. And with that, if anybody has any questions, I'll take them. Otherwise, thank you.